you have any weapons on you?
No.
Knives,
No.
pepper spray?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, I understand I'm supposed to be completely and totally defenseless while I'm in this building.
It's okay.
Like
So
like a school in Uvalde, right?
All right. So what do you have? So,
City treasurer, city manager.
City manager or treasurer, right?
Yeah.
You good? Come on in.
We got questions about taxes, basically. So that's who we were told to come to. We're doing an documentary about organized crime.
Sure. All right, once this is all done,
Okay.
I'll escort you personally over to,
Okay.
I'll show you over to taxes.
Okay.
Just go around. Don't go with this thing.
Okay.
You see? I'm just gonna check the waist for him. You can go around. You don't have to. Do you have any pepper spray?
She's deaf mute. She doesn't have anything on her, just the camera.
Get a check.
City managers doesn't have, their words, they don't have anybody available. I will give you a number if you ever want to make a contact with them. I'll give you their number
Okay.
at the end of your thing.
Okay.
Give you all that info.
I wasn't sure who to talk to. These are just the recommended departments they sent me to from across the street.
You have to swear all your business licenses and everything.
Kind of a documentary just trying to...
See how the city functions?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Where the money comes from.
Oh, yeah.
How it's generated, how the revenue's generated.
Right, now like across the street where you're at City Hall, I take it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's like the governing body of the city, as you know, Office of the Mayor and all the council members.
Okay.
This is like the functioning arm of the city. That's everything you see here, all your, like engineering, your planning, licenses, tax. Oh yeah, people get like vendor's license and stuff. Oh, passports.
Are you guys waiting for?
Deal with tax.
Well, that's the Arizona Department of Revenue. Does tax?
Oh, is that here?
Nope,
Oh, okay.
that's not done.
We're just doing a documentary, trying to teach people about how things are operated here. I was told that that this place is completely run off of money taken through threats, force, and coercion. That's not true, is it?
So you're here asking me questions about something that I have no knowledge of. So
Okay. What's your position here, Sarah?
I'm the tax and licensing manager.
Tax and licensing manager.
Right.
Okay, you collect taxes, though?
Nope, we do not collect taxes. That's the Arizona Department of Revenue.
It says tax and licensing manager. That's what you do?
Right. So we do licensing here in this office.
Okay, what types of things do you license?
Businesses, and then we do regulatory licenses.
What's a regulatory license?
A license that is required so that you can do your type of business.
And business would be like, I
A
produce.
massage facility would be an example of a regulatory license.
Governments claim that regulatory fees and licenses are meant to protect consumers from underqualified workers and businesses. Since the 1950s, the number of occupations that require licenses have risen from 5% to about 25%. But over the last decade, at least a half dozen studies, including those from the Institute for Justice, have shown that occupational licenses have done little to nothing to protect consumer health and safety, but they have barred otherwise qualified individuals from being able to compete in the market. Putting up fences protecting already existing large corporations from having to compete with the little guy, who may otherwise actually be able to provide better quality services and products at a better price. If you want to provide goods and/or services to people who want to buy goods and/or services, you must first ask the government for permission and then pay them. But what if both the buyers and the sellers decided that they wanted to freely exchange with one another and that they did not want to involve the middleman that's claiming to provide protection for both of them?
So would somebody be able to open a massage business and have people voluntarily come in and use their goods and services without permission from this organization?
You mean from the city?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Correct. They would not. They would need that license to do a massage. Okay. To have a massage facility.
What if they wanted to open a massage facility and customers wanted to come and pay them for massages, but customers and the business didn't want to involve the city? What would happen then?
Well, that would be a good question for police to ask.
Police.
Because I don't enforce that. The police department enforces that license.
Okay. And you're not sure how they would enforce it?
They have their own procedures.
Stop resisting.
Don't touch it! Stop!
Stop resisting.
They have their own procedures. So I'm sure they do visits and things like that.
So at that point, if people chose to just freely trade goods with each other without the permission of these people, then the police would come in?
What do you mean by these people?
You call it the city, right?
Yes, this is
The city? Okay.
So yes, if you had any questions about enforcement, that would be with the city police department.
Most people want some kind of peace of mind that the person they're hiring is in some way qualified to provide the services promised. And if you only want to get a massage from someone who has paid for this woman's stamp of approval, there's nothing wrong with that. But what if 100 people or even 1,000 people decided that they wanted to pay this man for a massage instead, and he has not paid for her stamp of approval? Then the police will come? Wow. Extortion is defined as demanding money or property through threats or intimidation. Racketeering refers to a pattern of illegal activities typically involving extortion or other criminal acts carried out to generate profit or gain an advantage, often by organized crime groups. The difference between a robbery or a theft and racketeering is that racketeering involves a planned and ongoing scheme, not just an isolated criminal act.
So who would call the enforcement then and ask for them to go enforce the and force the business to come and pay you guys?
I don't know, maybe whoever complains about it.
Okay. Would you guys wouldn't, so would they call you and say, hey, we have a massage parlor and people are freely trading with one another?
I've not ever had that happen before, so I would not be able to.
Okay.
I mean, I guess somebody could call me and say that, but we've never had that happen.
I imagine most people just get the license.
I would assume so.
Okay.
It's much easier.
Okay. We're just trying to figure out what would happen if someone didn't and if they just chose to freely exchange
I
with their
understand that,
neighbors.
and I already explained that.
Right.
We don't do the enforcement here. That would be something that the police would follow up on.
So if they didn't, though, then the police, then it's all in the police's hands. So I need to go ask them then.
Yeah, then you're more than welcome to.
Okay, and is that the
You
way?
can put in a public records request with all the things that you're wanting, and then the city would be happy to answer those questions for you.
A public records request for what would happen if someone didn't get a license?
Well, anything, any questions that you have for the city, you'll put in a public records request, and then the city will respond to you. We also have EZ where you can ask questions or things that you need to know or whatever, and the city will respond to that.
Okay.
So there's lots of ways for the city to provide information.
Okay. Do you not like people coming in to ask in person?
I'm happy that you're coming in to ask. You're actually I have a meeting in a little bit, but I have like about another 5 minutes that I'm happy to give to you.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I got the answer I need.
Okay,
If
great.
people were to try to freely trade with their neighbors, the police would come. Is that right?
I did not say that. I don't know why the police would come if people were trying to freely. I didn't say that. So
Okay.
you're more than welcome to ask your question again, but that's not what I said.
Notice as this dialogue continues that the armed security guard changes his posture. He then moves around behind my camera person, standing uncomfortably close in her personal space in what appears to be an attempt to intimidate her, causing her to move and resituate.
But in order to freely trade with neighbors, people have to have business license or regulatory licenses?
No, it has to be within the ordinance. So no, you're talking about, you just said freely trade with your
Right,
neighbors.
right, like
So
I
if
wanna-
I'm going to
right.
go, if I go to my next door neighbor and knock on the door and say, hey, I want to sell you some eggs, or I want to borrow some eggs, or I want to trade you some eggs for some sugar or something like that, the city has nothing to do with that.
Okay, I got it on this one. Okay. So there's only certain trade that the city regulates and some trade that they don't?
It would be per statute or ordinances.
Okay,
Those are our rules and regulations.
okay. So like our lemonade, can kids have lemonade stands without a permit? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there are certain things that are regulated and not. Where do I find the information about what is or isn't regulated as far as free trade?
It would be ordinances. So you
Ordinances.
could go to az.gov and review ordinances.
Okay. And that will tell me what type of trade is free and what type of trade is regulated?
What type of trade is regulated? Because some things may be regulated, but not necessarily not free, if you know what I mean. So your definition of free and my definition of free seems a little different here, so
Okay.
if you want to explain what your definition of free is. Free is to me that it doesn't cost me anything. There's lots of things that you can do that don't cost anything.
Okay. I go to a chiropractor here actually, and he told me that he has to have a license to operate. And I told him, I would still come to you and pay you for your services even if you didn't have a license. But we would probably both get in trouble for that, is that right?
I don't know how you would get in trouble. I mean, the business needs to be licensed, so that
Permission.
would be but the clients necessarily would. There's nothing wrong with the client.
Okay, so it would be the business that would be
Business
punished.
is responsible for that.
Okay. All right. Codes and ordinances will tell us what trade is free and what trade is regulated, right?
It will tell you what the laws and ordinances are in the city. So I wouldn't search free and regulated because that's probably not going to help you.
Okay.
All the words that you're using have not come out of my mouth. So you're more than welcome to look up ordinances to find out what is regulated or what needs to be done in the city. But I'm not sure that violence would be an appropriate word, or free, things like that. I mean, you're just, I don't know how to answer your questions. I'm telling you what the rules and regulations are.
Sure.
It's 1 o'clock and
Thanks.
I have a meeting.
Thanks
You
for
have a
yours.
nice day.
All right, thanks, Sarah.
The Institute for Justice has found that this legalized racket costs the Arizona economy about $2.83 billion per year and leads to 29,000 fewer jobs. Frederick Bastiat said, when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in society, over the course of time they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it.
Is there a reason you started taking an offensive posture at a certain
not at
point
all.
there? Started trying to take our six and
Just moving around.
looked like you were taking kind of an offensive posture there, not shaking your head at us and at me.
Oh.
It's okay, man. You're the only one with a gun in here. We're just here to talk. We're not the guys with the guns who force our will upon other people, right?
Right.
We were disarmed at the door for your safety, probably, right? Because if people realize what you guys actually are and what you actually do, that's probably why you put this thing up, right? Am I right?
Well, that'd be the elected and appointed officials that did that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you're just
Just work here.
the enforcement arm of it, right?
I just work here.
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate you taking me back there, but as you can see, people get really defensive when we start talking about these types of things. That's, we don't mean to get people all upset and offended, but when we start really talking about things the way they are.
Just I put the cameras here, so I know you want to record, but this is the camera, so
Oh,
just
okay.
have to keep it.
How many cameras?
Yeah, she can't record the cameras, it's just like that.
How many cameras are in the building?
I have no idea, to be honest. But if you please just move from the desk, this is for employees, security. I know she don't hear, but can you please tell her to move from the desk? Yeah.
Oh, I think she's fine. She's just recording me.
Okay, yeah. So just, excuse me, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. She just need to move from the camera. Excuse me, I apologize, but we have to. That's for the security only.